Children are the future, and the elderly are the wisdom of the past. The comments and opinions of this program may be considered offensive. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, welcome back to Uncommon Sense, everyone, the show where we bring you uncommon opinions to spark conversation in our crazy society. My name is Billy the Kid.
I'm Butch.
And Butch doesn't like to be on camera, so y'all have to deal with this ugly mug right here.
Well,
Alright.
It's not that I don't like being on camera. It's just that I'm so old, I'm so wrinkly, you think your TV was out of focus.
Right about there. Let me start that over.
Damn it, Billy!
Pay attention!
Are you ready?
Let's do this! Alright. Back to this ugly mug. Oh, hey! So today we're going to have an open conversation about morals in today's society. Are there morals in today's society, Butch? What do you think?
Morals in today's society. I think morals have changed a lot of it from when I was younger and everything. We was part of the generation, go back, 80s, 70s. If you're openly gay, hey, we didn't care. Oh well, that's who you are. We accepted people. There's none of this, visual stuff. Whatever
stuff
they
was
did
becoming
behind doors, that was behind their doors.
Yeah.
That was their
And
life,
even
not
for those
ours.
that didn't agree with it, it wasn't their lifestyle, or, even if they had rejection toward that lifestyle, there was already becoming that common, I guess, ideology of that what they do is their business.
Right.
Yeah. For me to accept my freedoms and my privacy, I must accept their freedoms and their privacy as well, as long as they are not harming anyone else or impugning on someone else's freedom.
Right, exactly.
So that was becoming more of a basic mindset.
Right.
Whereas there was a time where it was just not okay.
Exactly.
But
no, like I said, when I went to school and everything, I remember my high school years. I went to school with a gentleman who was gay.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew he was gay.
Mm-hmm.
No one cared.
Yeah. And I think it does kind of depend maybe a little bit on the area of which people grew up.
Right.
And I say that because as someone that grew up in a more rural area, a very Christian area, it was much more so when I was growing up than it is now. But there was still some of that mindset of basically almost like gays are evil, and that if
they probably preached a lot about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And like the whole if you're gay, you're going to hell.
Right.
And stuff like that. I think it was more so in a lot of the rural areas that were really, really Christian based. But I've watched it change even in my area.
Right.
So what's funny to me though is that right as we come into having more acceptance for those sort of things, all of a sudden they are creating this divide, that community.
Right.
And I'm not saying the average gay guy or the average lesbian or even the average trans person, because many of the average ones don't feel that way. Right. It's the ones that like claim themselves to be in this community that are suddenly lashing out as if They are still oppressed. They are still frowned upon. They are still demonized or whatever.
Right.
And I feel like you guys have already won your battle. You've
Yeah.
already won the battle for
Yeah.
and then some, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, we've got gay marriage now. We've got, you know, what is that thing? Don't ask, don't tell isn't a thing
Right.
anymore.
Right.
Right? So they have all the same freedoms as everyone else.
Right.
What are they still fighting for? I feel like they don't realize that it's been won.
Yeah.
They're fighting for something that's already been won.
And it's like, hey, we crossed the finish line, but we want a little bit more.
But you just kept running.
We want more attention.
And now you're mad that you're still running.
Yeah, exactly.
The finish line was back there, dude.
Yeah.
You went through the ribbon.
Yep.
First place. We were trying to give you your award, and you were like, "Nope, I'm gonna keep running." Another mile and a half down the track, and you're like, "Why am I still running? That's everybody else's fault." Dude, half the crowd's already gone.
Yeah.
Like, everybody left the stadium.
Yeah.
The sweepers are coming out. What are you still doing running? Just stop.
Just
just stop. Make it stop. Okay, so my question though then is for today is, where is our moral line? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the insane left has no moral line anymore.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on
Maybe
that. The way out liberal left, they want to push that having an abortion is health care. And a lot of people, they're like, well, no, it's not health care. It shouldn't be covered under health care. It's a medical procedure.
Yeah, it's surgery.
That's all it is.
I wouldn't call it healthcare. Of course, I have interesting opinions about our healthcare system as it is. It's not really healthcare, it's sick care.
Yes.
You only get help when you're sick, and they give you something to fix your symptom, not your underlying cause.
Right.
When it comes to the whole abortion thing,
I think it's up to the individual, but
well,
at the
yeah,
same time, it's the individual's choice. It's the individual's responsibility to pay for that choice.
Exactly what I was gonna say. So, abortion aside for a minute, let's talk morals as far as what is happening with, yes, I'm going to call it indoctrination. That's what it is. The indoctrination of children these days and how much worse it has gotten.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, we now you have televised grooming of children.
Right.
You know, you've got children's shows with drag queen story times and, like, you know, gay teachers and parents in the show. And not that there is a problem with anyone being gay or lesbian, obviously. However, why is that a thing that has to be in a children's show? Children don't have to be introduced to all this stuff for them to accept it. Children have to be taught by their parents what it means to respect other people, no matter their oddities, you know, to be respectful.
Yeah.
And to be, for the most part, accepting, unless that person wronged you in some way, obviously.
Right.
But
then
yeah.
You just don't associate with that person.
Yeah. So it's really about parents teaching the children basic ethics of respect and human value and, you know.
Right. That's the parents' responsibility.
Oh, what is that golden rule
job
that's in every single religion and philosophy that's ever been written? Treat others as one wishes to be treated. In fact, the Druids always say, treat all things as you wish to be treated.
Right.
Not just other people, but
Right. All
animals,
things.
trees,
Animals, trees, yes.
everything. As far as the Druids are concerned, all life is sacred. And when I say all, I mean everything down to the psilocybin. It is all precious
Yes.
to a Druid. Everything on Earth is connected.
Right.
Oh. But so if
Yes.
all life is sacred, is that still, I'm confused. Is that my religious belief, or is that just being human?
Right.
This is where I'm confused, because if we as humans continue to push back our moral line, where does it stop?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be with religion, although I am going to bring up a couple things about a couple different religions. Butch and I, we were both raised in Christian homes.
Right.
I grew up with very strict Christian family. I mean, my grandpa slept with the Bible in his lap.
Right.
He was a pastor.
My
Um,
my first introduction to actually as a Baptist church
yeah.
for a long time, for at least about.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I went to a Christian church. I went to a Catholic church and returned to a Christian church. And then at a young age, or at a, I say young age now, but I was about, I don't know, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my mother on advice on what does she think I should do. Said it was up to me.
All right, so let's go over these couple articles I had pulled up.
All
All right, I frowned at the camera right before I did that. It was not frowning at you guys. I apologize. How I think. It's my thinking face. Okay, so first off, we got basic ethics of Hinduism. And we're just going to brief over these really quick because I think it's important to point out that it's not just Christianity that has a very similar moral moral code, moral
right.
standpoint. And Hinduism, yes, is a religion, but Buddhism technically is not. It's actually a philosophy of which some people take with religious context, which frankly, so did people with the evolutionary theory, because even Darwin himself said this is a theory. That's why he called it the theory of evolution. He wasn't saying that it was fact, but many people took it as this is it, and that's what they believe in now. It's ultimately their religion. Okay, moving on. So, we don't have to go over like all this little details, but here we got the conduct and character. Man wills to obtain objects of desires. Willing results in action. This is called conduct. Conduct is behavior. The will that is expressed becomes conduct. Man has various sorts of desires. Sometimes there is conflict of desires. That desire which obtains victory is termed his will. The inner disposition which makes the will possible is called character. Character um is the aggregate, because I can't read and speak today, of peculiar qualities which constitute personal individuality. External behavior is not always a sure guide in judging the character of a man. But what it's saying is that you should conduct yourself as your character. So, by conducting yourself as something other than yourself, you are, in a sense, committing a sin upon yourself. Because now people are going to think of you in one way when really you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
ethics or science of conduct. Let's kind of go down here this way. Ethical codes of Hinduism. And we can leave the link in there so you guys can kind of go over this stuff yourself. But there was a part in here that I was kind of looking for. Here we go. Philosophy of right and wrong. Right and wrong, good and bad are relative terms. Right and wrong refer to the moral standard as law. Good and bad refer to it as end. You will have to adjust your conduct according to this moral standard. That which is in accordance with a rule is right. That which is worthy of achievement is good. Religion gives us the ultimate data upon which ethical science built. So it's basically saying that religion gives us kind of a portal to express moral value. And I guess that's kind of how I interpreted it.
What I believe on it is what they're trying to say is that it's up to each individual to go ahead and make the decision of make up their own personal moral code. That's their character.
Right. That your personal morals they're going to be, those are your personal morals. Like, but I think it's also saying that religion is kind of a way for us to express those morals. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of what I got out of it. And this one is about Buddhism here, and it says a few things: refrain from hurting or killing any living beings, refrain from destroying or stealing others' properties, refrain from sexual misconduct. So let's touch on this one a minute, because there is so much weird sexual things going on in our society today.
Oh yeah.
It's just, it kind of weirded me out, dude. Why is this a thing?
Yeah, it does make sense.
All right, got myself off the screen so they can see it. Abstaining from any form of sexual misconduct is the third moral code. Its main virtues are associated with dignity, integrity, and the respect for faithfulness. The meaning of this code is quite diverse, because for monks it means not to engage in any sort of sexual relations. However, for meditation enthusiasts, for example, the meaning of this third discipline is to refrain from having any illegitimate form of relationship, be it moral or physical, with any other person. For example, in cases where both parties are married to other people, but they are performing sexual activities with each other. In other words,
most people would call that adultery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, here in the United States, anyway.
And to me, even if I take away all morals, we as people, we value loyalty, right?
Right.
How can you value someone's loyalty if they cannot show you that they are loyal? So, when you commit to someone, when you say, I am in a relationship with this person, down to the basic core, I would expect them, no matter my religion, I would expect them to be loyal to me. Right. So what does it show if I am unloyal to them? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And for them, even for people that agree to be unloyal to each other, that still you have tainted the sanctity of your original commitment. That you are mine and I am yours.
Right.
Or whatever. That we are going to grow old together, live our lives together, and be a partnership.
Right.
And be a team of two. Right?
Right.
So, again, religion aside, wouldn't you as a human want to know that you had one person in the whole world that you could trust, that you could depend on?
Oh, yeah.
That would be there for you and loyal to you when you are in your time of need.
Right. Not just physically, but also emotionally.
Emotionally, mentally,
Right. Spiritually.
spiritually. Yeah. So, and that's what that's saying. So again, whoops. Again, I feel like it really just points out that religion is a way for many people to express their morals, right? But if you look through different religions all over the world, we have the same morals. Even you go to ancient times,
Right.
you know, there are more barbaric and savage societies that were out there, obviously,
Right.
but many of them, the ones that had peaceful societies amongst themselves, had the same basic moral values. It had nothing to do with their religion. And the term religion didn't become a thing till, frankly, very recently in our human existence.
That's true. Very true. You know, however, in regards to religion, I think that since the dawn of man, whether it be through creation or evolution, since the dawn of man, we have thanked them in our own way, both verbally or emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for another day, for another day of sunshine, another day of warmth. We had to be somebody up there that gave us that. So, yeah, we thank that person.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter who God is to you.
Right.
Ultimately, we're all under the same God.
Exactly.
And actually, what's funny is every religion believes that,
Yeah.
or most religions do,
Most
anyways.
do. Yeah.
Even the ones, for example, like I said earlier, switch back over here for a minute. Even the ones that have, say, multiple gods,
Right.
as the Christians would put it, but when you look at the way that their gods are set up, there is a one and ultimate God. The other gods are like sub gods, like
Angels.
angels.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah, that's what it
bruh,
was.
get out of my brain. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, they stand in the same place really as angels are. And then you have certain other deities or whatever. Like what isn't it Krishna that's a demigod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
What was Jesus? Wait, what was Jesus?
Oh, no.
Was he
Oh, I
was he
think.
half God?
Oh, why does that make him?
Hercules. Oh.
He's Hercules' brother.
Right.
They're cousins. Yeah.
Hey cuz, hold my beer.
Hey, hold my beer.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, man. I told you. I tried to tell you don't do it. They don't want to believe me.
What you looking at?
What's your problem, Willis? So, anyways, that's really all I got on the specifically on religions. Those were a couple of things that I happened to pull up the other day. Um and yeah, I know I talk a lot about the druid stuff, but druidry really is not again a religion. In fact, if I was to pick a religion, I would probably still say I'm Christian because I do believe that Jesus lived. I believe that he died for us. Maybe not exactly in the context that I wasn't there.
Right. I would
But I do
say
believe that he died for us.
I would say I was there, but I think that was the graduating class before me. So
Probably.
yeah.
All right, Judas. No, just kidding. Anyway, so real quick though, I am gonna bring up this here because it was interesting. We were talking about having this episode. Then I got on Facebook last night. I don't recommend it to anybody. But I got on Facebook last night and I made a new Facebook for those of you guys that do want to, troll me on the internet. I'm on Minds at Billy's World 2021. And Facebook, I'm Billy the Kid. Yes, that's the apostrophe D apostrophe KID. Because that's the only way it would accept Billy the Kid. So, anyways, I saw this thing from somebody I know, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to put in my 2 cents.
Right, because, here at Uncommon Sense, we're all about open discussion.
Not only that, but here's my thing. If you're going to post something, Facebook, for everyone to read,
yes,
are you really telling me that you posted it without wanting any feedback? Or do you just want feedback that agrees with what you said?
Saying.
Because I don't know about you guys, but when I post something, I want feedback.
Yeah.
You
if
know?
you like it, you like
constructive
it. If it made
criticism.
you laugh,
I don't want people to troll me,
right.
And I don't try trolling anyone else.
No.
But when you put an opinion out there, especially when one puts a very strong, passionate, almost sounds angry opinion out there, I don't know. You know what I mean though? Like you can't post something like that and then expect people not to
in some way or another.
And someone is going to disagree with you. Can't it be civilized?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can.
All right. Now, that said, there will be no names mentioned. Okay. I respect the privacy of other people.
Yes.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is not the first time I've had this type of conversation with people.
Yes.
And
same here.
I feel like this is deja vu at this point because I've had this very similar conversation many, many, many times. And if I lose this friend, I wish her well, and I'm sorry that happened, but not the first, won't be the last, so that's unfortunate. However, let's get into opinions and have a constructive conversation with someone that's not here. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll bring them on the show. I don't know. So, this person says, if you say you believe in freedom of religion, yet support rules that derive from your religion to be placed upon all, then you do not really believe that at all. I am speaking about how we should dress, wear our hair, whether or not we can pierce and tattoo, get abortions and birth control, have sex for pleasure, masturbate, our traditional school systems, traditional work and business hours, who and how we love, etc. The Bible should rule only the Christians that wish to worship it. I am done watching people get devalued in the name of archaic religious. Okay, so firstly, it does come off as angry.
Yes.
I'm going to put that out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel a lot of angst. Yeah, I feel like there is an anger kind of specifically toward Christians, you know? So that was kind of the first thing. Okay, but I can kind of look past that, to an extent,
right?
Depending on how the conversation goes. This next one here actually is the conversations between two other people, not myself. Okay, but this is, I'm giving you guys context so you can understand the lead up to what I said. Okay, so this one here says, this may come off rude, and I'm not trying to dismiss your opinion, which are just as valid as my own, but Christians worship Jesus Christ, not the Bible. And just my humble opinion, being a practicing Christian, being tolerant of others with different beliefs doesn't mean to accept their beliefs, but rather to agree to disagree. No one, Christian, atheist, Buddhist, etc., should have to be forced to believe or practice things they don't believe in. IMO, in my opinion, right?
Right.
I mean, respect and value your outlook, but want to share my own too. The response says, I know many individuals that are like yourself, and when they honor Jesus, they embrace the humans and humanity. But what I am speaking of is our entire nation being founded on the principles of Christianity and the morals of the Bible. I have yet to hear a single non religious reason to criminalize abortions. I have not heard a single non religious argument for why some think they can demean queer folk. We're going to talk about that too. Religious doctrine is what made women inferior for so many years. Religious doctrine is what riddled so many with shame, just being human and making mistakes. It does not matter if you personally do not see issues, as the evidence shows how much these closed thought paths limited our freedom and potential as individuals. So I'm going to stop there for a second, which give opinion on what I just read from the other people. Before I read what I say.
Right, right. From the other people.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, she was criticizing religion in the first place. Another one came back and responded saying, hey, it's not, as a Christian, we're tolerant of others. We believe that you can believe whatever you want, whether you're an atheist, Buddhist, whatever. You also, you know, believe in whatever you want, but don't force others to.
Yes, exactly. Um, and yes,
We're not.
Christians are, they want others to be saved, as they say it. But really, of us wouldn't want to be sure that other people are going to a good place when they die. So, and you're going to have that type of thing with any religion or philosophy. If someone believes that what they think is right, then they're going to give that information to other people because they feel it's valuable. So whether or not they are, some of them, some of the, Christians, and I more think of like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses that are really preachy.
Right.
I think a lot of them are more preachy than average Christian.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I have
and some
issue
people
with
are more
some
judgmental than
religions,
others, but
but
that's religion aside.
yeah.
I mean, I know people that are completely atheist that are some of the most judgmental people I've ever met in my life.
Right.
You know, um,
Some people with tattoos all over their arms and body are some of the most nicest
mhm.
people, willing, giving,
Oh, I know one.
willing to give
Big
you a
old
hand.
burly dude covered in tattoos. Looks like he'd probably just rip you apart. Big teddy bear. Don't let it fool you. you know. But there's. Uh, that's just. It seemed very opinionated to me.
Very
So.
opinionated.
Um. But I did like the response that the other person had. Um. I don't know. And to me, like this one here is a pretty blunt statement. It does not matter if you personally do not see the issue as the evidence shows. So she's basically, to me, it sounded like,
read the next part.
oh, well, yeah, as the evidence shows how much these closed thought paths have limited our freedom and potential as individuals.
Well, that's pretty judgmental of her to
That's
think
how
that way.
I thought of it. I felt like she was telling the other person that their view was wrong, whether they could see that they were wrong or not.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that was just me. I
No,
was like,
I
oh,
agree.
I kind of felt that for the other person, even though, you know what I mean? Because I understood where the other person was coming from more. Like, and she was right off the bat, like, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Okay? I'm putting out my point of view just like anybody else. Okay, so then that said, let me go to the other one here. Oh, okay. So my response to that, though, was, and here's why I gave you guys the context, because there was so much Christian being brought up that I was like, okay, wait, Christians aren't the only ones that believe that stuff.
Right.
So I personally felt it important to throw that out there, that Christians aren't the only ones that believe in that philosophy. So I said, in Druid philosophy, all life is sacred. That's a religious standpoint that is not Christian based. Even so, if someone wishes to commit what I view as a blood sacrifice, that is their choice and their karma to bear. All I can say for myself is, and I forgot to do the Seymour, but what I finished with saying was that when that person makes their choice to get rid of that child, that is their choice and their choice alone. And it should be no one else's responsibility to pay for and assist in that choice. So that's how I finished that. I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but that's what I said.
Right.
So,
And again, you're agreeing that, hey, it's up to a personal choice. This is how you view it. Doesn't mean they have to view it the same way, but this is how you view it. You see it as a blood sacrifice. And
and I do. I mean,
I agree.
I don't really understand how people cannot see it that way, but I'm other people. So,
Right.
now the next question I do want to ask before I read what I said is, did it sound like I was threatening anybody?
No.
The reason I ask that is because,
And the reason I thought about it because I wanted to make sure before I said yes or no. But I don't remember you saying anything that was insulting, threatening, or anything.
I didn't try to, and I'm saying that honest to goodness, I wasn't trying to offend anyone, but the things I have opinions about, well,
Some people
some
get
people are offended
offended.
by it. That's why we have disclaimers. Um, Anyways, so the response is, obviously that is still religion, and yes, I know that is still religion. I was just putting that out there, so my bad. Anyways, then it says abortion is healthcare. Okay, we already kind of talked about that a little bit. We'll move on real quick. It says no woman should be forced to bear a child if they do not want to, and to force it is in violation of their human rights. And I disagree with that. However, it says life is sacred. Life is sacred. The woman's life that is already breathing and creating energy into this world and asking for humanity and understanding. All the lives alive now needing resources that are depleting rapidly as overpopulation rises. We'll get to that too. What about that all life? And speaking also of babies, when moms are forced to give birth, that kid is likely not going to have a quality life, but one filled with trauma, poverty, and okay, but that kind of goes back to morals as far as I'm concerned.
That's her own
Um,
personal viewpoint. I see it as.
yeah, and I feel like so many times adoption has become disregarded.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not even really brought up, at least on the liberal side anymore. It's not even brought up as part of an argument.
Right,
This isn't about being pro-choice anymore. It's about being pro-abortion. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Okay,
right,
Tim Pool is pro-choice.
right,
I know many people that are pro-choice. They are not pro-abortion.
right.
like advocating for abortion itself. Right. They advocate for women to be able to make the choice.
Exactly.
Yada, 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 which I personally think that the father should have some say in it too. But
I have a personal experience where I agree with that. Yeah. I think a father or a potential father to be should have a say whether or not, I took two people to make them. One person can't make that decision.
That's right. Them. And of course, there's it's her body, it's her choice. Okay, but it takes two to tango.
Right.
Okay, real quick though, there's another thing I wanted to touch on here that she says, abortion is healthcare. We already kind of talked about that, but no, abortion is not healthcare. It's a surgery.
Right. It's a surgical operation.
Because unless her health is in danger, it's not healthcare. If your health is in danger, that's a different story.
Right.
If the baby's health is in danger, that's a different story. But if you are perfectly healthy and capable of carrying this child and you simply don't want it, that is not healthcare. It then says no woman should be forced to bear a child, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's the part I want to talk about. For her to be forced to have the child is against her human rights. Okay.
She wasn't really forced,
Here is why I disagree. Yeah. No one forced you to have sex. No one forced you to do the do with anybody. Okay? Unless it was rape. There are cases where it's rape, and that kind of gets a little foggy for me because I still don't agree with it. There are plenty of people out there, I'm just saying. Plenty of people that want babies that can't have them.
Right.
So, that child will be loved, will have opportunities, so on and so forth. And maybe there needs to be changes in the adoption system so that more people have the ability to adopt, and the poorer people that are trying to get rid of their babies because whatever, that they have better opportunity to adopt, right, to send the child out to be adopted. So obviously there's plenty we can fix in that system of things.
Yes.
But I'm talking about the morals here.
Right. The next part is what really got me. Was when she was talking about the overpopulation and not
yeah, that got to me too. But real quick, one other thing I want to say about this: no woman should be forced to bear a child they don't want. Like I said, no one forced you to have sex. You knew the consequences of having sex, whether it's protected or not protected. There is no 100% guarantee that she's not going to get pregnant. Okay? Exactly. That the female won't get pregnant. So, that said, it is a choice just like any other choice. You have consequences for this choice. You have consequences for that choice. There are pros and cons to both sides, right? But you ultimately make the decision. And when you make the decision to have sex, knowing the consequences of that action, let me relate it to skateboarding. Okay? If I decide to go skateboarding down a steep hill without a helmet and without proper knee pads or whatever, okay, not even the right shoes on, maybe I'm wearing blue suede shoes for whatever reason, cowboy boots, because that's safe on a skateboard.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, and I fall down and I break my leg.
Right.
And it's very badly broken. The skin's torn. It's through, you know what I mean?
The break's clean through the skin.
It's bad. Okay, so my leg is never going to be the same again. Ever.
Right.
It's never going to be quite the same. But that was my choice.
Right.
I can't get mad that I now have a broken leg and my leg will never be quite the same. When I made the choice of doing a stupid stunt, you see what I'm saying? I have to accept those consequences whether I like them or not. So therefore, my point being is, if you make the choice to have sex, you know the consequences of having sex. Therefore, it is your personal responsibility as a responsible adult to take responsibility for the consequences of your action. And if that means you send that child away because you are not capable of taking care of it and raising it right for whatever reason, then so be it. But you know who doesn't get a choice in all of this? The child. And every one of us was that embryo at one point in time. So how would we feel? Put yourselves in the embryo's point of view. Boom, you just happened, and it's really dark in here, and I don't know what's going on. And then, oh, they're just gonna vacuum me out through what may as well be a meat grinder?
Yep.
I didn't get a choice in that matter. So, either life is sacred, or we are all garbage. There's no in between. Okay? There's no in between. Either everyone alive today, their life is sacred, and every life to come, their lives are sacred, or all of us are worth no more than a vacuumerized meat grinder. I rest my case. Okay, so to the population thing. Anyone else listen to Elon Musk? Elon Musk. Okay, go ahead. Butch.
All right, on the the overpopulation, not enough food to eat. I don't know what the current statistics are, and I'm not even, I'll look them up later and I'll give them to you in an upcoming episode. But I know a few years back that the government had over 140 tons of food in a warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
So don't tell me
How many
that
other
one.
conspiracy theories we've said have already come true? Let's see if this one does. You'll find out on next season of
Uncommon Sense with
on
your
the next
host.
season of The World's Gone Mad. 1984 is real. Welcome to the Matrix. Oh, the metaverse.
The metaverse.
Anyway.
All right.
So then I'm just gonna kind of brief through these other ones here because we're running out of time. So we covered the poverty thing. You know, we need to change the system in the adoption thing, I'm sure. But honestly, there's no reason any child should go unloved.
No. Every child should have a chance. Every child.
Yes. Okay, we're Oh yes. Okay, so then there is a continuation here. It didn't stop there. That last one I read, there was a space, and then it said, all in caps, I will not have anyone on here judging and passing shame or threatening karmic energy. None of us have a right to do so. I'm going to interrupt there because I do have a right to do so.
Yeah. All the individual freedoms.
And
let's start with the First Amendment.
I was not trying to like curse anybody, or I would have said some abracadabra stuff, but that's not how that. Sorry, no. Harry Potter lied. It doesn't work like that.
Really? I gotta take my Harry Potter wand back to the store now?
Yes.
But it made all those cool sounds.
I'm like Ron. I'm like, I want. It doesn't work exactly like that. Let's just, anyways. So go shame and tear down women elsewhere. Anyway, for those that actually know me in real life, they understand why that's.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
In another episode. Okay, so, yeah, I need to go shame women elsewhere, as it will not be tolerated here. You came here and proved exactly what my post complained about, using religion to make others feel shame. Gross.
I don't think you said anything. Somebody aimed about
If it made
what?
them feel shame, honestly though, if it made you feel shame, it's because shame was already there.
That's right.
So whatever guilt you already had, that is your burden.
Yes.
As I called it, karma. Okay, maybe I should have said burden. You know, that's their burden to bear. That's their karma to bear. But see, as someone who believes in the energy forces of the universe, I believe that when you do good, good comes back. And when you do not so good, not so good comes back.
That's
And
right.
the Druids believe that it folded, it multiplied, and then it came back to you.
Right.
So
And
that's
you
why we
remember the
get.
numbers by?
And yes, the Chinese are the ones that called it karma. What?
You remember the number by that it comes back to you?
Wasn't it tenfold?
Threefold.
Was it threefold? Okay.
Threefold.
Um. So yeah, threefold. It comes back to you. 3 times is bad. That makes sense. Um. And the common term for it is karma.
Yes.
That's what the Chinese call it. I cannot remember off the top of my head what the Celts called it, but it meant the same thing. And of course it's Celtic, so it's harder to say. But karma is very easy. It was burden. So maybe I don't know. Maybe that one word would have made the difference.
Right.
Maybe she wouldn't have seen that I would, thought I was trying to curse somebody, but understood that it was their own guilt to bear. That was
Right.
their problem. You know.
Right.
And I've known, by the way, I know a few people that have had abortions. So some of this I speak from personal experience of knowing someone that's gone through it and helping them through it.
Yep.
Because one of them very, very much to this day regrets doing that. You know what I mean? So I know the trauma that it causes to have one. When someone is in their right state of mind, in a sane state of mind,
right,
it is very likely that they won't be happy with their choice. They will feel guilt because they know that they just took a life, whether or not they're religious or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like this here, and I don't know if this person's ever experienced abortion or abortion of someone else that they know. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But this part was very emotional to me. And I don't know if maybe my one word change would have changed that emotional reaction or not. But anyway, so my response was abortion is not healthcare as far as I'm concerned, but that is a whole conversation of its own. Also, I never said she couldn't get her abortion, and my opinion of her choice does not mean I'm threatening anything. That is simply my point of view. Let her make her choice, but don't ask taxpayers to assist in her choice. That's all I was saying, or that's all I said. You had mentioned the Christians so much, I figured I'd throw that out there. If my views offended you, I think it's worth taking time to have an honest conversation and understand one another. You notice I did not apologize for what I said, because my opinion is not going to change. It is still going to stand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to apologize for something that I'm not actually sorry for.
Right.
I'm not sorry for my opinion. That's still what I think. But it is unfortunate that my words are taken to this extent and have triggered someone to that extent.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what.
So yeah, I think it is worth having an honest conversation. The hard conversations that no one wants to have. Even if that means that we agree to disagree, the communication is so important these days. Also, my opinion is just as valid as anyone else's, no matter where it stems from. Shame was not my goal, though I'm sorry that you read it that way. You call it religion, I call it philosophy, some call it spirituality. Where does your opinion stem from? It sounds like political angst, but I could be wrong. Nothing I said was meant in judgment. I was simply giving my opinion. Yes, my point of view, just as you were. Um, so then some other person jumped in here and said that they need to get religion out of government. Um, the country wasn't founded on Christianity, at least not in the Constitution I've read.
Uh-huh.
Not sure what
Yeah.
Constitution he read because
Yeah.
they were Christians. Although Jefferson was vague about it to include the fact that it was freedom of religion. You know,
Right.
they were simply stating moral value is what he was trying to do, but his base was his faith, right? So, anyways, but people bring it into politics because that's what gets votes for the time being. Luckily, religion numbers. I'm not sure why this is luckily. That's another subject, I think.
Because the person, thinks that the lack of religion in the country, or the more religion removed from the country, the
Yeah,
better.
I guess, yeah. Um, it's only a matter of time before it becomes the minority in this country and more level headed decisions can be made by those that aren't basing their decision on any religion. And then she says there was a surgery, but I think she meant study done in 2015 that showed about the majority of millennials had foregone organized religion in pursuit of more individualized spirituality. This gives me hope as well.
Not sure why I would give him hope, but
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
I mean that sounds like a defeatist and anti everything
Yeah,
kind of
because
attitude.
if there is no because most religions are based on some sort of philosophy. So if religion is gone, is philosophy leaving just behind it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now what is the higher power? The government? Is that you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Well,
they don't have a higher power, they just have the government.
right.
Who are made up of what? Men. Humans. They're no more or less human than you or I. So if we can do wrong, so can they. If we can be selfish, so can they. The
Right.
whole idea of having an all-knowing power of the universe of some sort is that there is something out there that knows better than
Me myself on that particular subject, I think that it would be rather egotistical of ourselves to
yes,
think that we're out of all
very
the
much so.
quadrillion of stars out there, and each star having so many planets around it,
Mm-hmm.
say 10 planets around it, what's the possibility of life on one of those planets?
Yeah, and it kind of goes. It's a similar concept. Like if if we if we have no, there is no higher power, there is no higher energy or anything like that. We are placing ourselves as humans in the place of any higher power,
Yes.
any higher energy, which then, so what, we are God?
Oh, it reminds me
You know
of
what I
the,
mean?
yeah,
But they're all answering to the government. So then is your government your God? You know what I mean? That's, I don't know.
one of the most profound statements I've ever was that man is what God once was.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah, absolutely.
in all the religions, all
Mm-hmm.
societies, they say that God created the man
In his own image.
in his own image.
And
Okay.
that's not just in Genesis.
No,
Yeah, that's in Hindu writings. That's, yeah.
that's all over.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
That's what the
So
natives
so the
believe the
first
same thing. The
so the
great
first
creator.
part so the first part is accurate. Then
Yeah,
we could say that, right?
right.
All right. God is what man will become.
Yeah. If we allow ourselves that to be in touch with that part of our consciousness, then yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's not just that, it's knowledge.
Exactly. And who's going to teach us that but that higher power?
Right.
We can't teach ourselves that. We can't teach ourselves what we don't know. And in order to do that, we would have to make even more mistakes than we have as human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think I think there's a step we're missing that gets us in touch with that higher power to where we can understand and speak with that higher power.
Right.
You know? Um and I think that's where the like some of the reincarnation stuff comes from, that you, because like the
Right.
druids believe that you lived so many lives before you learned enough that you could ascend to,
The next plane
yeah,
of
basically to
existence.
like what
Yeah.
Christians call heaven.
Right.
um and that between your lives you judged yourself.
Right.
And so I have punished myself in this life for apparently things that I did not do right in the last life. You know what I mean? That sort of
Right.
thing.
Right.
um that's again in a subject for another day. But okay, so my response to this was, so are there any morals that are still sacred to us as humans? Take specific religion out. That's all fine. But if we as a society have no moral ground, where does it stop? All life is sacred, or it should be. Considering we are all alive and typing, we should understand that without this sacred view of life, none of us would be here. All I'm trying to say is, have we completely lost all moral ground as a society? Religion or not, are our lives and the future of humanity no longer sacred? If that is the case, how much have we really progressed? It sounds more barbaric and savage to disregard basic moral values. Maybe that's just me. What do you guys think? Write it in the comments. They're down there.
There they are. Yeah, right there. Yeah, see it? Yeah.
And you
All right,
click the
what you
little
do?
bar thing.
Yeah,
Oh, right after you click the like button, because you've already made it this far into my ranting.
and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification icon. That way you'll stay updated when a new video gets released.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's all for this episode. We'll see you next time.
Peace out. Don't forget, Uncommon Sense is now available in audio form thanks to Anchor.fm, where you can also support the show. From Anchor, you can link to your favorite listening app or listen right from Anchor.fm. Anchor allows us to be available on 5 listening platforms as well as YouTube and Rumble. The Anchor link can also be found on our YouTube page on the top right hand corner.